Ready for a bedtime story, Pen?
Heck yeah!
Okay. Once upon a time, there was a woman. She was tough, stronger than me for sure. She had a job that required her to go into some super spooky places. So she wasn't just strong physically, she was strong mentally too. Her name was Roxxanne.
Another story about Roxanne?
What? You don't like her?
No, it's not that. I love her. But you did a story about her last time. Why not give someone else a chance?
I mean, if you don't want a story, you can just tell me.
No, I do want one.
Okay, then quiet down and listen up. You can't interrupt me or I'll lose my place in the story.
Oops, sorry.
It's fine. Okay, let's see. One day, Roxanne got a text on her phone. It went bzz, bzz. And when she picked it up to see what it said, she read the words, "Ghosts running rampant. Get rid of them." And there was some other stuff too about where and when and that kind of thing, but that's boring and unimportant. Anyway, when she heard about these ghosts, she immediately got ready to handle the mess. Roxanne jumped into her old beat-up pickup truck, which is the car she uses when she doesn't want to drive her nice old-fashioned car, and she drove to where the text told her to. She drove up to an old building. It was an historical site. So while it was a little bit spooky, it was also well cared after because people would go in and out of it all the time. It was a place school children went to on field trips, and while learning is fun, having ghosts run rampant around small children is less fun. It's a potential lawsuit even. Either way, Roxanne was tasked with getting rid of the ghosts. Like any good ghost hunter, she established her surroundings. She went into each room and checked for supernatural activity. After getting a sense of the layout, she pulled out a little pendulum and went into the room with the strongest ghost energy. The main room. Now, the pendulum works by asking yes or no questions, you see. If the answer is yes, it'll swing in a clockwise circle, and if the answer is no, it swings counterclockwise. Does that make sense, Pen?
Yeah, it does. What happened next?
Well, Roxanne asked one very simple question. Are there any spirits here? And the pendulum began to swing clockwise, so she followed up with another question. Are there more than 10 of you? It swung counterclockwise. More than 5? Counterclockwise. 3 of you? The pendulum swung clockwise again, and now Roxanne knew exactly how many ghosts she was going to need to handle. Can you show yourself to me? She asked, and the pendulum said no. Would you be willing to speak with me? No again. Very well, she said. Then my final question is, are you here with malicious intent?
Ooh, what'd they say?
They said yes. Indeed. Roxanne frowned because that meant she actually had to do something about the ghosts. Would you be willing to tell me why you have malicious intent? The pendulum said yes. Now that I know this, would you be willing to speak with me? Roxanne asked again. Spirits are fickle creatures. They change their mind easily, so there's no harm in asking a question twice. This time, the pendulum stayed still. No movement, until one of the ghosts said, yes. Roxanne could hear them, although very roughly and very faintly. They began to hold a conversation. Roxanne still couldn't see them, which was frustrating, but not the end of the world. We died in this house, one of the ghosts said. Murdered, the other followed up. You murdered us. We're gonna murder you, the third hissed. Roxanne placed her hands on her hips and sighed. Ghosts could be so difficult to work with sometimes. They get confused by the living world so easily. Don't you know, no one here could have murdered you. That was decades ago, and anyone that could have murdered you is dead, and I certainly didn't murder anyone, she clarified. Now, Roxanne couldn't see this, but those 3 ghosts looked at each other and began to feel very uneasy. It was simply because they were being forced to reevaluate their behavior, but they attributed it to the feeling of being lied to. 3 ghosts now believed that Roxanne was lying to them, and thus they believed that she must have been the one who had taken their life so many years ago.
That's crazy! Roxanne would never kill someone. Maybe rough them up a little bit if they're really bad, but never kill.
I know, Imagine my surprise when I learned that they started throwing things at her and attacking her because they thought she had done them wrong.
What is this world coming to?
Who knows, Pen? Who knows? At any rate, we know Roxanne was fine. She knows how to handle upset ghosts. She raced out of the room and out to the back of her truck. She dug through the junk she had in the back, grabbed a handful of items, and ran back inside. After she'd laid out her candles, she sat down and began to say a spell that would bind the ghost to the toy ship she had placed in the center. Only temporarily, of course. This was a catch-and-release situation. The ghosts were now bound to the ship, and Roxanne could help them pass on. Apparently, by binding them to the ship and releasing them outside, she undid their previous binding to the house. Now they could freely do whatever their little ghost hearts desired, which made them much nicer.
Hooray! The ghosts are free! Roxanne is safe! The people who go to visit the house are safe! Go, Roxanne!
Exactly. It's just another day in the life of Roxanne. There's only one problem. There's a little girl who's still not asleep.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
Good night, Ben.